Awesome ones. Happy Wednesday. It is another day, day three of the Spotlight interviews, and I'm super excited to be here with you. And before I dive in, let me introduce myself. Sometimes I forget to do that. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the founder of Holistic Fitness and Why. I serve and help women over 40 to get strong, remind them that weights are their friend. I'm a Reiki master, holistic integrative teacher, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. So today, I'm super excited to share one of the speakers from the Cosmic Evolution Summit that's coming up on October 27th. And that's what this is all about, is giving each and every one of you an opportunity to get to know the speakers on a more personal level, not so much about their business background. So before I dive into introduce, what I like for all of us to do is take a moment to share out. Make sure we're all streaming where we need to be streaming, mostly me. Make sure I'm where I need to be streaming so we get an audience going on. Some of you might already be here to join us. Of course, internet always has to be swinging or swinging. It's like doing a little dance. Come on, come on, come on. Maybe. What's going on? My. Be nice if we can just play along. All right, we are live on YouTube. So if you are watching from YouTube, please do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please help me out. Subscribe. Also, you can subscribe to my channel on TikTok, although we're not streaming live there. It's okay, though. We'll get there eventually. I promise. And want to make sure I'm streaming on Facebook, because that's where most of you will probably be hanging out anyway. Let me get there. Little by little, all the back work we have to do. All right, so we are on Facebook, and I see that we do have some people here with us. So giving a shout out to Kitty. Thank you, Kitty, for sharing. I appreciate it. And I'm going to share as well. And making sure we are where we need to be. All right, there we have it. I'm just going to invite one or two people in who might be interested in being here with us as well. There's so much to do in the back. It's quite interesting on how much there is to actually do. All right, so now that all of the back stuff is done, whoops, where did I go? There we go. Lost myself there for a moment. So let me take a moment. As I said, this is day 3 of the Spotlight interviews. I'm really excited. Now, if you watched day 1 and day 2, as I've mentioned, I know them a little bit more on a professional and personal level, as opposed to today's speaker interview conversation, not too familiar with whom I'm going to be introducing next. So as much as you're going to learn about her, I'm going to learn about her too. So I'm super excited. So I'm going to introduce you to Nance. She is a breakthrough coach, energy healer. Super excited to bring her on. Let's hear it for Nancy. Hello, Nancy. How are you today?
I'm just great. I'm absolutely fabulous. I am so honored and blessed to be here, and then soon to be with all of the other amazing speakers that we have.
Yes. It's going to be an interesting day. It's going to be a long day because we go from 10:30 a.m. till about 8 p.m. Eastern time. So it's a long day. It's a one-day event. And in theory, from what I've seen and what I've actually been on for myself, some summits go like 2-3 days long. And I'm like, wow, one day is, even just doing this day after day after day, it's like, wow, this is a lot of work behind the scenes, but it's fun. It's interesting. It's taking me out of my comfort zone. So, and now I'm here with you, and this is about you today. This is not about me. This is about me getting to know you and helping the audience get to know you too, to get them riled up for the day, October 27th. So anyone who has not yet reserved their tickets for October 27th, it is a free event. Reason why you want to reserve your tickets is because if you want to come and sit in the Zoom room with us so you can actually get hands-on attention from all of our speakers, that's why you want to reserve your ticket. Now, if you just want to watch from the behind the scenes, then once we go live, you can just watch. So ideally, we're encouraging everybody to come on Zoom with us so we can see you face to face in real time, as opposed to looking on a screen. They're like, hey, hey, hey. So yes, so here we have Nancy Nance. Again, as I said, she's a breakthrough coach and energy healer. And I'm sure there's more to her. Now, I didn't ask this question from the first two interviews, but I'm kind of curious on this, and I'm going to dive in with this question for you, Nancy, in regards to as a debt doula. What inspired you to go into that? I'm going to use that modality, that field. What would be the title to that? Is it a modality? Is it a field? What is it?
It's a leap of faith, is what it is, because when it was suggested to me first by a friend that I become a doula, I'm like, I'm not doing birth doula. I'm not having kids, right? Like, not a chance. And now that I've got granddaughters, I love grandchildren. And full time, not a chance. So then, when my dear friend was struggling with her health, excuse me, and going through the transition between being ill, she'd been ill for quite a long time, and then those pivotal steps whereby the disease transitions into more of a eventual passing, you know that it's coming. And I said to her one day, I said, sweetie, how can I help you? And she goes, well,
Mm.
you can connect with my spirit and tell it that I want to let go. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. She goes, yeah, you know how to do that. So it was a challenge because it was my dearest friend. I didn't want her to leave.
Of course.
And so I went home, had a really strong conversation with my archangels and what I call a come to Jesus moment, where I'm like, Lord, Thunder and Jesus, if this is meant for me, you better be giving me a sign. Because Lord, Thunder and Jesus is what my grandmother said when I was a little girl. She was from Newfoundland. So I thought everyone said Lord, Thunder and Jesus. Found out that wasn't
How did
appropriate.
you know, right?
How did I know? And the signs were absolutely beautiful because I was able to see into the veil the number of my angels, my loved ones who had passed, who said, yeah, do that. So it was actually through the University of Vermont that I began my formal training, and I began with pets and people as
Oh,
an animal companion, end of life doula. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And then I transitioned to the end of life doula formal training program as well. And I took it once and it wasn't enough. I want to take it again because it's okay. When you take a course for 6 months, you better anticipate 8 hours of classroom time a day, even if it's part-time, because that's how much you need to commit
yes.
to fully understand. But some of the things that I learned, I'm able to use in my transformational breakthrough coaching because we transform from, hey, Freedom 55, looking pretty good, well, almost 55,
Yes.
to, oh my God, I look like the crypt, like I'm 70 years old, right? And. So each time that we transition into another phase, we're getting closer to the veil, the other
Yes.
side that we can't see.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love that. And you definitely shared and opened up my eyes about a debt doula. Um, for one, I never realized I had a pet doula, so I love that. I love that. I'm going to definitely look into that some more. I mean, I myself have been told from many people that that's something I can be doing. I do something similar in reference to how people cross over, but we'll talk about that at a different time. So my next big question for you, taking us from the debt doula into something a little bit more fun. What is your favorite movie that you can watch over and over and over again, and why?
Well, I've watched Gladiator over and over and over again because it's one of Ralph's favorite movies. And one of my favorite movies that I can watch over and over and over again is Blue Crush
Oh, okay, and why?
because it was my daughter's and one of my favorite movies. And when you think of movies that you watch. My daughter, when she passed away, was 10. Her brothers were older, so we didn't necessarily watch age appropriate movies because she had an understanding of more of a teenage understanding because she'd overhear her brothers
Mm-hmm.
talking about things like sex, as she would say
Mm.
it, doing the hibbity dibbity.
So
So
no
we
Barney for her, huh?
I mean, I took her to see some movies in the theaters that she'd even turn and go, "Mom," and I'm like, "Well, honey, I want you to understand these things and how they can affect you when you are in junior high." And she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "This is gross." And I'm like, "It's just boys and girls kissing." She's like, "Yeah, that's gross." So that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So now my next question is, what is your favorite time of day and why?
Oh, morning, 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 morning. It's
Why is
it's
morning your favorite time?
it's quiet in the world. The world hasn't woken up, and I am able to absorb the dreams that I had, journal about them, and see what the messages are that Spirit was sending to me from the night before. Spirit will help me find things that I've lost. Found my remote control that I lost 2 days ago. Woot woot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it'll give me an opportunity to set the stage for my day. So I'll set 3 deliberate intentions for every day. Some of them are carry forwards from the day before,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm able to really connect with me time.
Yeah. Now, when you are getting up in the morning, what is the early time that you get up? Are you one of those who get up at like 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning? What time is your morning time?
My alarm goes off at 5 in the morning, and I'm usually up by 4.
Okay. Okay. Yes, because there's a lot to be said. I hear from many people who are early risers that when as early as you wake, there's less people awake at that point in time. So it is a lot easier to make connection with spirit because there's less distraction and less energy around. So that's why so many people do wake up early. Although I don't think they could pay me enough to wake up that early because I'm a night owl. So to me, it's like
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I like to sit up at night and speak to spirit as you early birds are going to bed early, so you can get up early. So
perfect.
makes sense to me. I love it, love it. Next question I have for you: what is one piece of advice you wish someone gave you when you were younger?
Oh boy. This is a bit of this was a little bit spirit given. So I'm like, okay, piece of advice. And I closed my eyes to see who it was that was communicating to me. And it was my cousin from my father's side. And she said, well, she showed us how we both don't choose the bad boy.
Oh, okay, don't choose the bad boys. So that's
Choose
the
the bad
advice you
boy.
would.
Yeah, because you know what? Quite often we find somebody who is exciting, right? And I lived in a very peaceful, very, very spiritual, very church bound life. My mom was quite strict with me. And so I was more attracted to the bad boys than
That
I
would
was.
make sense though.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want the boy in the church, right?
No, husband number one, husband number two, husband number three, 2 thumbs up.
There you go. Love it, love it. I love it. And I guess this next question fits pretty interestingly since you've just said that, your mom was pretty strict and you've gone to church. And I'm sure everybody will get the understanding of the connection. What is your favorite crystal that you wear or use and why?
Um, oh boy, my favorite.
I know there's so many.
I love the Lemurian quartz and rainbow fluorite.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Did you know I was going to ask this question or do you keep crystals around you at hand?
I keep the rainbow fluorite beside me. I have since I was in Saskatoon at an event. I found this at a beautiful museum outside of Saskatoon. Um, and the fellow who owned it, get this, it's called the Sasula. I know it's Sasula, Sesula. He founded the museum when he was like 15.
Mm, nice.
This blocks, well, it protects me from psychic attacks. So I'm
Yes,
like,
that makes sense. And I'm loving the factor that it almost looks like a heart shape.
right? Yeah, like
Yeah,
there's so much in it. Like, yeah, if you turn it that way, yeah.
exactly. Exactly. That's like the first thing my eye caught was when you held it. I'm like, oh, that looks like a beautiful heart shape. Love
Mhm.
that.
A little
Love
bit
that.
too heavy for a pendant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. You can't wear it as a pennant. No, no. I'm sure if you tried.
I would.
I'm sure if you tried. Now, this next question has been one of my favorites, and I've asked it on all the interviews so far, which is if you could sit with a celebrity for 30 minutes, who would
Mhm.
it be, and what
Mhm.
would you talk about?
Russell Brand. And I would talk about the recovery book that he wrote that I worked through. When I worked through recovery, I was working through recovery from codependency. I had long left behind the cocaine and crack party that I stayed in for too long.
Mm,
And when I was going through a codependency, I found the codependency traditional books. Melody Beattie, I read many of hers. They were very sweet, very kind, very light, very fluffy. Great information. I needed someone that was going to rip the blankets off of addiction. And when I heard him speak on the Audible first, I was just like gasp in a coffee shop with headphones, praying that nobody heard what he said. Because I was like, wow, that's oh my. I haven't heard so many words in one sentence, like eloquently strung together without commas at all. And then when I saw how he blended the 12 steps and
yes,
just blew it out of the box, I'm like, wow, that takes courage.
yes,
Courage. It takes a
yeah,
lot of courage. And because of his straightforward, very direct, very controversial conversations, he's been slammed a lot.
mm,
And I think that we too often put a celebrity or a public speaker or anybody into a box and try to define them. It's like
hmm,
putting Jack in a box when Jack is Jill, and neither one of them are identifying as anything other than, hey, I'm Nancy Nance.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly, exactly. And I was just thinking that the other day in regards to how many of us, including myself, we put celebrities on such a high pedestal, thinking like, oh my God. It's like, I know for me at one point or another, when people would say, well, if you ever had a chance to be on a talk show, whose talk show would you want to be on? And I gave a whole listing of them. And now here I am that I have my own talk show. It's like, well, how many people want to be on my talk show? That puts me on a pedestal, because hey,
It's very true. And celebrities are human beings,
exactly.
period. The end. We're all people. I mean, I'd
Exactly.
love to meet Steven Tyler because I'd like to try on all of his clothes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I'm loving how most of your response are leading right into many of my next questions, which I have two, and I'm trying to decide which of the two I want to ask first because both of them of what you just spoke about were like, wow, she just said a word that's on my page. So I'm going to ask that one, and that is because you used the word, what does courage mean to you?
Oh, courage means to me, when I think of courage, it is leaping forward with faith into the dreams that are almost too big and yet big enough for God to fit in. So it's like jumping off of a cliff in one of those squirrel flying suits, kind of like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman all at once. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure how to do it. I can learn. I can always learn. I can always ask questions, the courage to ask questions and ask for help. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Right? Like I would not be where I am if I didn't have a great group of people who are helping me. And I mean group. I can't name one because then I can't name them all, right?
Exactly, exactly. It would be like unfair to just pick one name out of your group when they're all very supportive.
Yeah.
Yes. And it makes sense. I mean, just based on the work that you do, what you're attracting
Mhm.
in based on the work and when I use the word work, it's not just your actual how do I say? I don't know if I want to use the word paying work or your spiritual work, but the
Mhm.
work that you've done to get to where you are
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
your soul's journey, which is, theoretically, that's what we do. We learn what we need to learn so then we can teach others what we've gone through, our hands on experience.
We unlearn what we've learned so that we can learn what we learned to teach other people.
Exactly, 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 exactly. Which brings me to my next question, not necessarily linked to the same, but, and like Kitty, our good friend Kitty would say, eliminate the word but and add the word and everything is equal in time. So, what's one food for you that's non negotiable? You're not giving it up for nothing.
One food,
That's
non-negotiable.
non negotiable.
There are a lot of foods that are non-negotiable that I won't give up for nothing.
Give me
Uh,
one. Give me one.
one,
Just one. For today.
licorice, and it's more of a treat that I will use as a long-term treat, okay? So there are certain types of licorice, like there are shoestring licorice, the green, the purple, the root beer, all of them. And I will enjoy, not indulge, not guilty pleasure crap, that's not for me. But I will allow myself that treat at the end of the completion of a massive goal.
I'm telling you, you are literally in my notebook. Because brings me to my next question. What would you like to complete by the end of 2024? So we have what, less than 12 weeks, I think. We're end of September. We're moving into October. What would you like to complete so you can have that licorice you're looking to have?
That is the audible for my memoir. So my memoir comes out on October 9th. And
Congratulations.
yeah. Oh my goodness. October 9th, which is my birthday. Woo, woo, so excited. I have
Yes,
not celebrated my birthday.
you haven't?
Mic drop. Truly celebrated my birthday ever. Like
Oh,
truly, like
okay.
never. Ever, ever,
Okay.
ever. And there's a whole another interview series on that. I've had birthday parties thrown for me. Um, and yet I've never fully embraced and celebrated the fact
So
that
it's time to celebrate you.
yeah, time to celebrate me, right? And so doing the Audible, I really want to get that completed in the month of November. I've never done an Audible before. I've got someone that I am going back and forth with on it. So, yeah, yeah,
I love that. I love that. And from what I remember you saying earlier on your talk show with Miss Kitty, was this is your, I think you called it Freedom 55, is what you
yeah,
called it?
yeah.
Yes. So yes, you're exactly. So yes, this is a perfect time for you to really recognize yourself, celebrate yourself, and be in freedom. Be in freedom. And I just want to take a moment just to let everybody know that I see your comments. I'm looking at the comments, and in just a few minutes, once we get past all the questions I want to ask Nancy, I will then come and look at your comments and respond to some of these comments because they're quite interesting. So, my next question for Nancy is, when do you feel the most like yourself?
When I'm with my family. And what I mean by my family is my guy Ralph, my sons, their wives, their significant others, my grandchildren, when I'm in that space where I am completely loved, supported, and accepted in every single way. where I can drop the F bomb if I feel like it, where I can really sharing communication. And what I mean by sharing communication is have the quiet space sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why am I talking? WAIT. Why am I talking? To be able to really listen.
Mm-hmm.
And they give me the same. They listen as well. So it's just beautiful.
I love that. I love that. And my next, but not final, question is, what is something you hope people learn from you when you're with them? Whether
That
it's through Zoom or face to face situation.
there is life after the death of a loved one.
Mm.
That there is true that it's okay to be happy on
Mm,
the
that's
side,
yes.
right? Because survivor's grief is a real challenge. And
Mhm.
all of us, humanity goes through some form of that reflection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's a beautiful gift that you would like to leave people with when they're with you, because grief is grief, as you know, and many people have a challenging time moving on because of guilt that sets in if they do move on and be happy. So I love that for you. Love that. So in our final time, based on the Cosmic Evolution Summit, as your topic is the death doula, is about the death doula rather, and what is it that you would like the audience to take away when you speak about the death doula?
The experience of dying is something that you either face or you don't face. We have this wonderful, very corporate agenda about, do you have your will? Do
Mm,
you have
yes.
is your funeral paid for? All the formalities.
Hmm.
What about things like, which way do you want your bed to face?
Mm. What do you want to wear?
What do you want to wear while you're ill? What are your non-negotiables? How do you feel about wearing Depends? How do you feel
Mm.
about Auntie M coming into your room? You know, that aunt that you never did like,
Yes.
right? Right? Like those kind of things, because it's about setting the stage for that last year, if you're blessed enough to know that you've got that much time. How do you want your family to remember you? What do you want to share with your family in that last year? Do you want to
Hmm.
create a quilt together? Is it
Mm.
puzzles that you like? Do you hate puzzles? What is it that you like? How do you want to create that final vacation year? Because if you think
Mm.
of it more in the positive perspective, and a lot of people look at me like I'm completely out to lunch.
Yeah, well, I understand that, because again, a big part of what I do is helping women to break their beliefs and habits and philosophies. And there's a lot of habits and philosophies around when somebody is in that end of life stage, how we respond, how we act, and what we should be doing. And I think it's like you said, being able to celebrate them, being able to ask them, what do they want during this time?
Some of the most amazing things that people have said is like, I had a lady and she wanted to create like a stag party for all of her girlfriends.
Hmm.
I'm
Yes,
like, oh my,
that's
what theme
beautiful.
do you want? Like, what theme? Like I was just like, wow, that is beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Now, for those of you who are interested in knowing, for the Cosmic Evolution Summit, Nancy will be speaking. She's going to be closing out the summit, theoretically speaking. She's our last speaker of the day at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. She's going to be sharing all about who she is as the Death Doula. So again, mark the date on your calendar, October 27th. Put that time down. And across the board is Nancy's YouTube channel, which is youtube.com at Recover Your Joy / Nancy Nance. /3556. What's up with the 3556?
I don't know. That's YouTube.
Okay. Okay, there's some significant thing about this, and I like the fact that the
What
last
is
two
it add
numbers.
up to? What does it
Uh,
add up to?
oh, I didn't even check. 1 second. 3556. We got 8. Oh, it adds up to 10.
That's how old Emily was when she passed away.
Ah, quite interesting. Yes, and the last two numbers is 56, which is about the master healer being we're here to be the master healer, mastering what it is we're doing, and you're doing it beautifully.
Thank
You're
you.
doing it beautifully. So again, Nancy, thank you so much for being open to answering my questions, helping me to get to know you a little bit more. I'm super excited about coming together on the 27th and for you to share your story about being the death doula and the experience behind it and what you're going to do with it once you're done. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put you backstage. I'm going to ask that you hang out there just for a little bit so I can close down the show. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, here you go. Day 3 of this spotlight interview with Nance. I'm hoping you all enjoyed it just as much as I did. And as I said, I want to promise, I'm promising you that I'm going to come and answer some of these comments, questions that some of you were asking about, specifically Kitty's, where she asked me, who would I like to sit with? Well, the list is way, way too long in regards to all the different people that I would like to sit with and have deep conversations with, although I believe I do that already, just at the end of each evening before when I go to bed, connecting to the other side. And also with celebrities, I've had a great opportunity to speak to many celebrities face to face. So I have to really sit there and ponder on who that one celebrity is. I would really like to have a 30-minute one-on-one conversation with. Well, who comes to mind, though, interesting enough, is John Travolta. That's who comes to mind. Would really like to pick his brain a little bit about his dancing years, his welcome back Carter years, and all that he's doing now. So there you go, Kitty. Good question for asking me as well. So again, we'll be back tomorrow, day 4 of the Spotlight Summit with, she is known as, and I want to get her name right, D. Rose Hope. She's known as Rose Hope. She and I will be coming live at 4 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. So please come and join, support her, and I'm looking forward to getting to know her as well, because she is another speaker that I have no idea about her. So I'm going to learn about her just as you learn about her as well. So again, thank you so much for spending your time here. Remember to circle your calendar for October 27th. It's a full day summit, and you can come in and out as often as you want. And if you want to have access to the Zoom room where you sit with us in real time, you definitely want to reserve your ticket. It's a free event. Just reserving your ticket, letting me know you're going to be there so I can send you the Zoom link so you can actually come join us. It will be live so you can watch it just as you're watching here as well. Until next time, I'll see you on the other side.